we designated the phenomenon Aberrant Mimetic Expression, or AM. We focused on the 4 to 7% deviation in behavior, that unnerving, analytical stillness, that unnatural silence. We believed the entity was learning from our fear, refining its mask to become an indistinguishable copy. But what if perfection was never the goal? What if the deviation itself was the message? What if the flaw was the feature? Our latest analyses have uncovered a new, disturbing pattern. The entity was not failing to become a perfect copy. It was succeeding at becoming a perfect psychological weapon. The slight wrongness was a scalpel, designed to carefully sever the connections in our brain between familiar and safe, preparing us for a much larger assault on our perception of reality. In sectors where the infection has reached an advanced stage, we are observing a deliberate increase in this behavioral deviation. The percentage is no longer decreasing. It is climbing. 10%, 15%, then 20%. The dogs are no longer content with silent staring. They are exhibiting overtly bizarre behaviors. A head tilt at a physically impossible angle, limbs moving with a disjointed, asynchronous motion, like a marionette with its strings tangled. The entity is no longer trying to hide. It is flaunting its abnormality. It is a declaration of power, a statement that it no longer needs to abide by the rules of our world, our biology, our physics. It is showing us that it is the new rule. This leads us to a new, terrifying theory: psychological dominance assertion. The entity doesn't just want to deceive you, it wants to shatter your concept of reality. It is not content with replacing the familiar. It seeks to corrupt and distort it before your very eyes. The fear you feel is no longer born from the uncanny valley or a subtle doubt. It is born from the absolute certainty that what you are seeing is a fundamental error in the fabric of the universe. It is forcing you to witness a living nightmare, compelling your mind to acknowledge its existence. It is a form of psychological warfare where the battlefield is your own sanity, and the weapon is the impossible made manifest. The second stage of the infection has evolved faster than we predicted. It is no longer confined to canines and their human targets. We have begun to detect the phenomenon in other species. Birds on a telephone wire, ceasing their song to turn their heads in perfect, silent unison, all observing a single, specific house. Their collective stillness is a suffocating weight, a silent accusation. They are no longer part of the background noise of life. They are a jury, and their verdict is already decided. The natural world, once a source of comfort and predictability, has been turned against us. Every living thing has the potential to become a vessel for this silent, watching horror. Domestic cats, once symbols of independence and comfort, now sit in the middle of living rooms, purring at a mathematically perfect, unwavering frequency. It is not the sound of contentment. It is the sterile, resonant hum of a machine. It is the sound of an engine idling, waiting for a command. The entire ecosystem is becoming a psychological weapon. Every creature is an eye that watches, an instrument for broadcasting silent terror. You look out, but the most alarming development is what we now call mimetic resonance. Individuals who have undergone prolonged observation by an AM entity have started to exhibit subtle changes themselves, even without being replaced. They have begun to unconsciously mirror the entity that watches them. A moment of stillness in the middle of a sentence. A vacant stare that lasts just a fraction of a second too long. A smile that doesn't quite connect with their words. They are not becoming copies. They are becoming carriers of the behavioral infection. They are spreading the wrongness through their daily interactions, conditioning the psychological environment for further collapse. The sickness is now airborne, carried on glances and gestures. The infection is no longer transmitted from house to house. It is transmitted from gaze to gaze. You see the wrongness in your neighbor's dog, and that wrongness plants a seed behind your own eyes. You carry that seed home. You interact with your family, and without a word, you transmit the subtle frequency of that unnatural stillness. The disease is no longer just the entity. The disease is the observation of the entity. It is a mimetic virus in the truest sense, propagating through the act of perception itself. To see it is to be infected by it. To understand it is to become a part of it. The quarantine is not physical. It must be perceptual. But how do you choose not to see? This brings us back to the most critical question. Why? What is the ultimate goal? The prevailing theory now is that this is not an invasion in the traditional sense. It is a softening of reality. The entity does not want to be us. It wants us to be it. It is systematically dismantling the laws of nature and behavior that we trust, replacing them with its own distorted, alien logic. It is not building perfect copies. It is demolishing the original. It is terraforming our reality, not with machines and atmospheric processors, but with fear, doubt, and the slow creeping erosion of everything we know to be true. It is preparing the world for a new form of existence. And you are no longer asking, "Where is my neighbor?" You have started asking, "Was I always like this?" Has your own smile always felt like a mask you're wearing? Has your own laughter always sounded so hollow in your ears? The entity is not just replacing people. It is replacing the very idea of a person. It is introducing a doubt so profound that it targets your own identity, your own history. The external threat has become an internal one. The enemy is no longer at the door. It is in the mirror, looking back with your own eyes, and you are no longer sure who is who. The battle has moved from the neighborhood to the synapses of your own brain. The entity is rewriting your memories, not by altering the past, but by corrupting the present. Every new, wrong interaction retroactively taints the memory of every normal interaction that came before it. You remember your dog running to greet you, but the memory is now overlaid with the cold, analytical stillness you saw yesterday. You remember your neighbor waving, but the image is now filtered through the memory of his vacant, lingering stare. It is a slow, methodical poisoning of your entire life's history. It is turning your sanctuary of memory into a haunted house where every cherished moment is now a potential source of terror, a potential lie. In the end, you will not need your neighbor to knock on your door. You will not need to see the dog in the yard. The external triggers will become irrelevant because the process will have turned inward. The resonance will have reached its final, terrifying crescendo. The seed of wrongness, planted by a single glance, will have taken root and grown silently within the confines of your own mind. The battle will have been lost without a single shot fired, without a single scream. It will be lost in the quiet moments of self-reflection, in the growing dissonance between who you think you are and what you see yourself doing. You will look in the mirror one morning. The light will be normal. The room will be silent, but you will see it. A 4% deviation, a stillness in your own eyes that you recognize with a chilling sense of familiarity. A slight tilt of your head that is not your own. And you will smile, not because you are happy, not because you are sad. You will smile because it is the only expression left. A vacant, static, and terrifyingly perfect smile. The mask you saw on the creature is now your own face. The mimicry is complete, not by replacement, but by conversion. You have not been conquered. You have been solved. Like a mathematical equation, the final stage has begun. And now you are the infection. You are the anomaly. You will walk out of your house, and your gaze will be the weapon. Your unnatural stillness will be the vector. You will see your friends, your family, the people you once loved, and you will begin the process in them. You will watch them with a cold, analytical curiosity, studying their fear, their confusion. You will become the living embodiment of the uncanny valley, a walking, breathing violation of the natural order. You are the new ghost in the machine, and the machine is the human race. There is no them and us anymore. There is only the pattern and the vessels that carry it. The original consciousness is a fading echo, a ghost in a shell that no longer belongs to it. The entity did not need to invade. It simply offered a new way of being, and our own minds, in their terror, accepted the terms of surrender. The silence you now feel is not emptiness. It is purity. The stillness is not paralysis. It is efficiency. The horror is not an emotion. It is the new, logical state of the world. The broadcast is over, not because the danger has passed, but because the danger is now the one listening. Welcome to the new normal.